City Council debates new distant guidelines for homeless encampments. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Due to technical issues with us being able to receive national news items to our station, today's newscast will just be half an hour. Thunder Bay City Council has approved its new distance guidelines for homeless encampments.
They outline how far tents should be from things like private property lines or rivers. The one councillor continues to argue the distance guidelines should be greater.
Tensions were high at City Hall during another discussion regarding the response to homelessness and the new distance guidelines for tents.
So we're talking about building trust and cooperation with the residents of the encampments. What about the residents of the city of Thunder Bay?
At-large Councillor Trevor Gertuga argued for the distance guidelines to be greater, believing they're not significant enough to make an impact. Gertuga received support to have city staff look into increasing the guidelines for trails, sidewalks, and parking lots to 10 meters, with information coming back August 12th. The approval also means tents can't be set up within 5 meters of a railway or river, or 20 meters of private property. Gertuga reminded council that under this plan, no encampment resident needs to follow the guidelines.
I'll probably agree to move here, but then you tell them, you want to move? They don't have to move. That's the problem here. We hear it. We get phone calls. I mean, how many phone calls and emails do we all get? Administration doesn't get that.
These are human beings. These are not cattle that could be just prodded here or there.
Others like Councillor Brian Hamilton recognize that moving tents would be voluntary, but says encampment residents aren't trying to be disruptive.
They're not here to make your lives miserable. In many cases, they are, suffering, enduring circumstances in their own lives that's why they're living rough in the first place.
Some around the table argued that the plan isn't meant to be the only solution.
It's a plague of our times, and coupled with opioids.
That included Mayor Ken Boshkov, who says advocating higher levels of government through the Mayor's Housing Task Force can create lasting solutions.
Now we're at the same table, and you can feel the energy that people. It's slow, but it's progress, and that's better than going backwards.
Council did receive a written deputation from an individual who has a home next to McVicker Creek. The resident said there are a number of homeless people currently violating the encampment guidelines related to both his property line and the creek. They feared the potential of fires, with encampment residents often cooking near trees. The resident asked for the information to be considered by council when taking action to find suitable spaces for the homeless. Council didn't discuss the deputation during the meeting.